Hey guys, got a quick one here. 2011 Toyota Yaris was rear-ended. She's having a problem with the light staying on back here. The trunk lid is not completely closing here and closing the latch. It's just leaving the light on. Looks like what happened here is she said it was hit by a Dodge Ram. Looks like it got this. It's been a while since it happened, probably a year or so. Looks like it got that. And if you can see, right here is pushed in. This piece is bent down. This piece is bent down just a little. But this ought to be up about where this one is. And this portion of the car, you can see it's kind of buckled right there. This is pushed in. I'm probably just going to have to push this rear body panel out just enough so that it will latch properly here. She said it wasn't leaking water or anything, but being down here, it probably wasn't sealing just right, but still wasn't leaking water into the trunk. Not really going to worry about this. She just wants basically the light to stay off so the battery won't run down on her. And we're going to put a new bumper cover on it. And I'll just have to straighten this and make sure it's still sealed when I do that. So I'm going to get a cover. I'm just trying to tear it down now to make sure I order everything I need. I think I'll be good with pushing this out. I'll just pull this carpet and all up, put a ram back at the bottom of the spare well, push this back. Probably not going to need to go maybe a 1/4 inch or so. I'm going to get all this back to where the trunk will align to this. I don't think there's any damage here, but you can see where this has been getting chewed up on this little tab here and this bolt. So this is all a little bit too far in. Get that aligned and pull this piece back up, get a new bumper cover. But I just wanted to make sure this right here wasn't destroyed. It really needs to be replaced, but she's just wanting to go minimal here just to get it to function. So I'm just going to get a bumper cover and straighten that up. For now, I think all I need to order is that, and I know I do need this piece too. The top clip's broken out up here. So I think that's the only two pieces I'm going to need. I saw that when I gave her the estimate, but wanted to make sure there was nothing else hiding back here. I'm going to go ahead and get the bumper off over here. There's one more clip, but the rest of it just fell off. It was just loose. And get this bumper ordered and that bracket over there and get it painted. We'll be good to go. Alright, I've got the trim out of the inside. I couldn't really get the porta power to fit anywhere in here and stay. It was trying to slip off as I was coming from the center over at an angle, and it kept trying to push the board off this way. So what I did was I went up to this big brace between the strut towers, and I've got it against that big heavy brace there coming down and pushing straight on it. I've got the measurement from up here at this gusset down to this mounting hole here for the trim, and looking straight down on it, it's about 30 inches. So I went ahead and I just matched the other side to the same thing and pushed it just a little bit further just for some spring back. With the pressure on it, I'm going to go ahead and shut the trunk lid, and I can look in from here with a light at the latch, and also from the back seat. I got the back seat folded down over there, so I'm looking from the inside with a flashlight just to see if it's sealing. I could see daylight coming through here before. There's a big gap. This bumper right here was actually making contact with the seal right there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and shut it now and look from the inside with the light. I'm going to get this in position to where the trunk is sealed, then I'm going to leave it there. I've also got this piece bent back up. I'm going to assume this was straight, and well, it's not straight, it's curved, but I'm going to assume it was undamaged. And I've got that one just about matched to it, so the bumper can slide up on this and into this slot. I don't think this needs to be all the way up flat. If the bumper has a lot of slack in it, I'll just go ahead and bend this up straight. But I don't think that's damaged. We'll find out soon. Alright, I'm in the trunk right now. Might be a little hard to see this, but just going around. You can see that little bumper right there. It's not touching the seal, it's towards the front of the car, just about a 1/4 inch over. Probably a 1/4 inch gap between that and the seal. We got this side over here, same thing, and all the way down looks like it's sealed. So I'm gonna I'm going to call that good for right now. I'm going to take the pressure off with the porta power and go back outside and make sure that that latch is not dragging on the striker anymore. Then I'm going to test fit the bumper. All right, I test fit the bumper. Everything's fitting really nice. Pulled it back off, and I noticed that one of these body plugs is missing down here. One just like that. One right there. About a 2-inch hole in it. So I just took another, got some weight on it now. Bottle of alcohol holding it down. But I took a strut nut cover off a Civic. It's not a perfect fit in the hole, but it's at least something I could put on there and bind it in. I've got 5887 seam sealer plastic repair in there, and I'm just weighing it down now to let it cure. Once that's cured up, I'll put the spare knot back in it. Could have gone and gotten a grommet from Toyota, but not really much water was getting in there, but I'm sure some was. But that'll be just fine just to seal that hole off. Once that's done, I'll have the trunk completely finished, put everything back in, and I need to just get the bumper cleaned again. Just from me touching it and it's sitting around, it's got dust all over it. So we'll go through and just rub around on it and try to find any dust in the primer. I know there's some in it I found earlier. Go around and do that. There's a piece right there. I don't know if you can see it, but sometimes this aftermarket primer is full of dust. So I'll clean that and then scuff it with a red pad. This corner over here got bent in shipping. Gonna have to heat it and straighten it back out. It's curved in a little bit, but I'll do that later on before I get ready to sand it. I'll have this ready to paint next. Okay, bumper's ready to paint. Got it scuffed with red Scotch-Brite and 400 grit on areas where the primer was really rough or had dust in it. There's a little bit of a dent right here on this corner, so I had to kind of block that out with 400 wet on a block. I'll have to put some adhesion promoter over that bare plastic area. But I got everything off on the outside. There's still a little bit of a dent on the top, but that tail light sits right here above it, so that'll hide that. There's no reason to fix it and prime it. Got the surface that shows straight anyway. Pretty much wet sanded the whole thing all over just to smooth out the primer a little bit. I didn't go any in here or anything. Just ran it over the open areas, like in here and along right in this area. The big open areas on the side and bottom. Everything else is red Scotch-Brite. And actually out here on this hook was actually coming up and overlapping the outside of the face of the bumper. So I put some clamps inside here just to push it away from the actual hook on the rack. So that's keeping this hook off the outside. Same thing on the other side. We'll get set up to paint in here. I got to get this car out of the way, and then I'll close the curtains and wet the floor down in here, wipe this thing down one more time, and start shooting it. All right, I got this Yaris bumper ready to go. Humidity is super low today, so just rubbing it down with the final clean's making a ton of static, so I'm going to go ahead and wipe it down with this static control wipe. I might be able to get through it with just this one, but I may have to go into a second one. This stuff evaporates pretty quickly. It's 70% isopropyl alcohol and deionized water 30%. That'll kill the static, and I'll still have to run over it. They tell you not to use a tack rag after this, but I'm still going to have to run over it if I see any dust in it. I'll wipe this thing down with this, and it'll be ready for some adhesion promoter on the cut throughs where I went into the plastic, having to do some repair work on it. Alright, adhesion promoter is on. Gonna be starting this with just some standard black base coat. I bought just enough paint to put one heavy coat on the top half of the bumper all the way around, and then a drop coat on top of that. All this underneath here is not really gonna make any difference because the actual paint on the car is kind of it's called black sand. It's kind of a black metallic, but I'm gonna start with this black base coat just to give me a black base to start with. Then I'll just dust on, or put one coat on and then dust on one final drop coat across the top so it'll match up here at the quarters. And then all the visible area right in here along the top will match the rest of the car. But underneath here, if it's just straight black, it's not really going to show. I'm trying to save some money on this job, so that's one way I'm doing it. About half as much paint as I normally would have. We'll go ahead and mix up some of this. enough to get me probably first coat, maybe two. Then I'll mix up the other Toyota 209 that it is. Alright, as soon as this thing's dry tomorrow, or I can handle it, I'm going to put it on the car and get this thing out. I had this car about a week and a half, pushing 2 weeks now. She's got another car. This is just an extra one. I think that her elderly father left her, or either he just can't drive it anymore. So she doesn't need it, but I'm going to get it out of my way at least. Be back when it's on the car. Almost forgot to give you an after shot. It's about to get dark here, so I'll do this real quick. For an aftermarket bumper, it fit really well. Turned out pretty nice. Simple repair. See you later.